Welcome to Rant Apocalypse Talks Daredevil Season 2, Episode 3, New York's Finest. I'm Justin.
And I'm Hank.
And in this episode, Daredevil is trapped face to face with the Punisher as he wrestles with the morality of whether or not his brand of vigilante justice is the right brand of vigilante justice. Meanwhile, Foggy and Karen, they work to save the firm and also track down Matt as he's tend to disappear and Foggy always has to search for him.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, he has a bad habit of that, and I'm pretty sure it seems like Foggy has been searching for him for the last 3 episodes straight. I think that the most talked about question and discussion that's going to stem from this episode, there might be a few, but I think the number one thing that we will probably discuss is, did the stairwell scene top the hallway scene from Season 1, Episode 2?
I think it did for me. I mentioned that in the first podcast. How are they going to top that shit?
You think that it did for you?
I did. I actually went back and watched it again. Yeah, I wanted to see the whole thing again. Even though this time around you could probably pick out some of the edits.
Yes.
Like when they go in on his back, and then the camera turns around and you're at another angle, things like that. Where the first time around, I think it was masked a little better.
I think it was a little bit more seamless in the hallway fight scene for sure. And we're going to spoil our top 3. Is this your number 1?
Yes.
Okay, so this
probably
is
for the rest
1.
of the show.
It happened to be my number 2 this week, but not because I don't think that it was just as good as the hallway fight scene, because I've probably watched this fight scene at least 15 times already.
Oh wow!
I went and did an edit that we put up on our YouTube page. Go search for it if you're listening to this on Facebook or wherever else, or Twitter. The YouTube page is Rant Apocalypse, all one word. You search for it, you just filter down to channels, and it's right there. But yeah, I made an edit of the fight scene where I added Mike Shinoda, his Razors Out song, which is an incredible song.
It turned out really cool. It feels like it should have always been there,
Exactly. That's what I felt like it was missing. But I get what they were going for, because if you put a song in there, you kind of take away from those bone-crunching moves that Matt was putting on all of those Dogs of Hell. I keep wanting to call them Sons of Hell.
Sons of Anarchy?
I think I'm getting them confused with Sons of Anarchy every time that I think
Dogs of Hell.
Dogs of Hell. But I wanted to bring up that I think a lot of people relate it to Raiden Oldboy, which I think is a good comparison, because I think the hallway fight scene as well as the stairwell fight scene are very reminiscent of scenes that were illustrated in Raid and Oldboy. Right. But for me, it worked out more that I thought it kind of closely related to Snowpiercer. And have you seen that?
No.
Oh my God, Hank.
Still haven't seen it.
Dude,
I've heard about it, a ton about it. But
you have got to go watch that. It is such an amazing, amazing movie. It stars Chris Evans. If you're listening right now, you've never heard of the movie before. I don't know if it's still on Netflix. It was for the longest time, and it was one of Netflix's most popular movies. But the way that they were using, I guess the easiest terminology is barbaric weapons. Because they're not using a whole lot of guns in this fight scene, right?
Right.
Just at the very beginning, there's a few guns that go off, but for the most part, they're using crowbars, bats, knives, and of course, Matt gets to use his badass chain.
That was cool.
That chain was. Did it make you hope and pray that one day we will actually get a decent Ghost Rider movie?
I didn't even think of it.
I did. That's the first thing I thought of. I was like,
really? When you saw the chain?
We need Ghost Rider in our lives. Like, not the Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider that was...
It was just a little cheesy for me.
Yeah, it was pretty damn terrible. But the fight scene was really cool. I got some quotes from the fight coordinator. His name is Phil Silvera, as well as Charlie Cox. He said that this fight scene was definitely paying homage to the Season 1 hallway fight scene. He said that it is paying homage to what we did last season, but on crack. And I definitely think that he's right in that.
How the hell did they move the camera around him in that tight stairwell space? That was crazy. Yeah, 1 minute's behind him, and then it crosses in front of him, and then the camera's on the other side. You don't feel like it's a camera. You feel like you're in there. It's really, really well done.
Yeah, you definitely feel like you're in the action, and that's what Phil, he goes on to talk about the differences in putting this fight scene together compared to the Season 1 fight scene. the hallway fight scene was on a set, and this fight scene was actually on location.
Oh wow.
Which is really cool. I mean, that means they had to scout this location out. It had to be the perfect spot to have this, like you said, this fight scene that goes from this top floor and he descends down these stairwells. But he said they had to move the camera around and pass it off to different people.
Oh,
so
wow.
You literally had, he said there's like 11 people that had cameras in different spots to film different parts of the fight scene.
That's amazing.
Which is crazy. He said they put this together in 3 days before they filmed it. Yeah, it was really, really freaking, really quick.
Man, I wonder if they would have something like that on the DVD, like behind the scenes, so you could see how they planned that shit out and, you know, how it works. Because I was really curious. I was watching it. I'm like, how the hell is that camera going from here to here, you know, and in a tight stairwell like that?
And it wasn't shaky to me.
No,
like it didn't.
Perfect.
You know, in some fight scenes you have like really bad shaky cam, and that's their way of trying to make you feel like you're more in the fight. But this one, it was much
very
smoother.
smooth.
Yeah, it was very smooth. And yeah, I mean that's what he said. He said we had multiple people fighting in there, falling down staircases, going over banisters, getting kicked downstairs. The one where Daredevil grabs the guy by the neck by the chain from like a flight above and rips him down to the next. That was freaking badass. But
you can follow everything. You know,
yes.
Nothing gets lost. You can follow everything.
Yeah. Oh, it was
really, really well done. If they don't win some award for that shit, that's just criminal.
I don't know if they did last year. I honestly can't remember
know.
if they won any awards for choreography or anything like that, because they definitely deserve it.
It was the talk of the internet. Definitely,
yeah.
that hallway scene.
Oh, that hallway scene was so incredible. This one's actually, I believe, 2 minutes longer than the hallway fight scene.
Well, they had to go all the way down the stairs.
Yeah, exactly. He just kept going. Like you thought it was ending, but it just kept going and going, which I loved. I did hear one complaint about the fight scene, and it was an article that I read from Hypeable, and it said that this was the title of the article. It was Daredevil Season 2, Why That Insane Fight Scene Has Left Me Cold. And he basically says that this fight scene, it's very technically sound. Like he said that they deserve all the kudos for how amazing it looks. But he said it's flashy, slick, and frankly kind of soulless. He said what's missing is meaning, what's missing is story. Because the hallway scene in Season 1 was all about finding that kid. And it was super impactful, it was super emotional. The fact that he was beaten down, he was tired, but he pushed through because he had to save this kid. And I get it. In this fight scene, there's really no purpose really other than just beating the shit out of these Sons of Hell gang members, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to get out of the building, I guess.
Yeah. I like the way that Phil, he summed it up. He said, this time around, I think the story's just very different. Last year, that hallway fight, he was tired, already beaten, broken, hurt, but he comes through to save this child. Here, this is more, as the showrunners describe it, more of a descent into hell. Yeah. He's challenged by Frank Castle not to cross that line, but you feel like he might actually cross it as he's moving down into hell.
Yeah.
I like the way that he describes that, because I definitely think that a lot of those dialogue and discussions that Frank and Matt were having in the beginning of this episode, you can definitely see that Frank is calling him out. The Punisher's calling him out and saying that, you know, his way of justice.
You're a half measure.
Yeah, exactly. You're a half measure. It's not working. So I feel like this was Daredevil's way of being like, F you, man. I can get it done, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to get it done, because he was definitely his actions were super, super brutal in that stairwell fight scene.
Yeah, it's a shame that Frank Castle didn't get to see the whole thing.
Yeah, he was passed out the whole time or knocked out.
Yeah, it'd be like, shit, he doesn't need the guns, you know?
Yeah.
Look how badass this guy is.
Speaking of the guns, this is a question I had to ask you. Were there any bullets in his gun?
No, that's what started the whole thing. When he shot it and he smiled because there was no bullet in there at all.
So basically,
he was just setting him up to see if he'd kill him, but he wasn't gonna let him shoot him.
Exactly. That was crazy to me. The fact that he didn't
just
put any bullets in there. Yeah, that was a crazy moment, and it was a crazy moment that he he just he laughs a little bit whenever he tries to shoot the gun, and it just clicks.
He knows this guy's just fucking with
me. It was great.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. All right, well, the fight scene, it was incredible. You say it was better. I say I have no clue at this point, but I love the crap out of both of them because they're both so amazing. I could watch them both over and over and over again. They're just both fantastic.
I definitely want to see this one again.
I've heard that there's an even better one.
Oh, wow.
Later in the season. I don't know if that's just people bullshitting, but it's going to be very tough to top this fight scene the rest of the way. But I know that, once Elektra comes in and maybe
they got to do something new. Something to match it.
Exactly. Some other crazy martial arts style fight scenes. Whatever it is, I'm going to be super pumped to see it. So
I'm pretty sure they figured out that was a highlight, of the first season. Everyone was talking about it. So how do we top it? And let's try another one,
Yeah.
Let's see how many we can get away with and make them different enough,
Next
I can
season.
see another one coming. I can see another one at least with Elektra, something like that.
Yeah.
Coming, yeah.
I could see something. I mean, it works out so well whenever they do these fight scenes in tight spaces. The impact is so much greater.
Yeah.
Whenever, because I mean, think about it. If they're out, let's just say they're fighting in the mall, it doesn't have I don't know. It just doesn't have
that
the same
intimacy.
punch.
Yeah.
The same.
The intimacy. You feel like you're in there, really.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. I kept thinking, man, how wide is that stairwell? Because that's the other thing. You have the camera, but you're getting a good view of everything that's going on around you.
Did you have a favorite moment from that stairwell fight?
It's got to be the chain.
just the chain in general, like. Yeah, I don't know.
Anytime he whipped that chain, I was like, yes.
Think about how easily he could have killed every one of those dudes in a very rough, brutal fashion. I don't know what's another word for brutal, because I keep saying brutal.
But it works.
But I think that's the only way you can describe it. It was very brutal. Because I mean, he could have vicious. He could have just basically bashed those people with the butt of that gun.
Oh yeah.
And smashed their face in. So it was like he almost crosses the line, but he pulls back just enough, because I think my favorite part of the fight scene involved the chain as well, and that's when he's about to get his neck snapped by that ginormous dude,
right?
And he whips that chain on that other guy, and then does the backflip, and it was insane. Charlie Cox's stunt double, that dude's a badass. Like I want to just watch him just jump around and beat people up all day. So, well, I think we can move on to our top three. I guess we did you like the episode?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah,
so far, it's like right up there with anything of the first season, any episode of the first season.
Yeah.
For me, yeah.
For sure. I think they're doing an excellent job with the whole Daredevil and Punisher. Their dynamics together are working incredibly well.
Yeah, and everybody's getting some time to shine too, because even Foggy and his stuff with Karen, it's working for me better this season. Before I didn't want to get away from Matt, just to see what he's doing and what's going on, and this season I don't mind so much. I like the stuff that's happening with Foggy, Karen, and so.
No, I do too. I think it's been excellent thus far. Their moments together. That was my number 3 moment was Foggy meeting Claire.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. Oh, that was your number.
Well,
yeah.
Claire. Yeah.
Oh, Claire was your number 3.
Claire returned. I didn't know she was going to be back. I hoped, but I hadn't heard anything or been spoiled. If she was going to return, and yeah, just seeing her again and that quick little mention of Luke Cage, was cool. Yeah. The way they keep building the world. Yeah. That was my number 3.
I love seeing Claire back again. My girlfriend, she likes to give me shit because she's like, "You're just excited for Rosario Dawson to be back." I'm like,
well, yeah,
of course.
That too.
Why wouldn't you be excited for that? It's Rosario Dawson. Yeah, mine was that as well, like meeting Claire, but then also being an ultimate badass. I don't know if it was a little bit heavy-handed with the writing, the fact that they wrote this scene for Foggy to just, I mean, he eviscerated, eviscerated that that gang member dude.
Yeah.
What was the line he said? It was something about the oh man. Oh, you got face tattoos, friend. That's like telegraphing I know what prison meatloaf tastes like.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, that dude, he burned the crap out of that guy multiple times. And you're right, it's been really neat getting to see Foggy just his storyline's been really good. I mean, his character's been really strong.
He's a badass in his own way. The way
Yes.
he took down the DA lady,
Yeah,
that nasty lady, he put her in her place too.
yeah. He's just putting people in their place all over the place.
I'm just loving Foggy too, and how much he cares about Matt, and looks after him, and that whole opening in the second episode was just awesome.
Yeah.
I was hoping that he wouldn't start bitching him out too much, because he knows why he's doing what he's doing. So they eased up on it a bit. Last season, Foggy was, telling him off too much about the whole Daredevil thing.
Yeah, I think.
But he cares about him, and.
Yeah, I think last season it was just that he was so hurt that he kept the secret from him. Yeah, and in this season it's more like he just doesn't want to see him get hurt. But yeah, you're right. He realizes that Matt needs to do it, and I think they had just the right amount of fight in Foggy in episode 2 where he's trying to grab his suit, because I don't think I brought it up that he was grabbing his suit in the episode 2 recap that I put up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm loving Foggy. He's super loyal. It worries me. I'm like, okay, do we lose one of our main cast members this season?
Yeah, because we care about him so much now.
Yeah.
That would suck.
It would really suck, because right now I don't see anybody. There's not a Ben Urich out there that is one of our. He's one of the central characters, but he's not the main group of main characters.
Right.
And we lost him in season 1 because we didn't lose a whole lot of people in season 1. Especially, of course, we didn't lose the core group of Karen, Matt, and Foggy, which I don't want to lose in the show, but it would definitely make me cry a lot.
Oh my god!
If we lost one of them. So what's your number 2 moment from this episode?
The talk between Daredevil and Punisher up there on the. I didn't think they were gonna get to that so fast too. They're really moving quickly with the Punisher, not wasting any time, because that was all like the promo pictures, him, chained to that wall or whatever, and the other one, the Punisher, staring down at him. But just the whole conversation about what we touched on, him being a half measure. But I like that he realized he's not that crazy. I am just a bad day away from what he's doing. So that whole scene was just really well written.
Yeah,
and I'm digging, Bernthal as Frank Castle. I know that I posted a comment on Twitter, and Chris from Zap to It came back and he's like, no, I disagree completely. Like he doesn't like what he's doing as the Punisher.
Did he say why?
He didn't. He came back and said that his favorite thing is the Elektra stuff this season. But I don't know, maybe because it's too hyper violent and too hard to kind of redeem somebody like that that's so cruel and just bent on killing. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, to me, I feel like that John Bernthal's he's playing the Punisher that I have in my head.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though I have not read a lot of Punisher in my day of comic book reading, to be totally honest with anybody listening or watching this right now, the most I ever read of Punisher was Punisher 2099. Like, that was, whenever I was younger, that was my go-to Punisher comic book. I read a lot of Punisher side stories with Spider-Man, but that to me was, some of those in the 90s were a little bit the more watered down Punisher. Now, I have not read Garth Ennis's version of the Punisher, but apparently, like, that's the de facto version to read. Like, it's the best, and that's where a lot of the scene, the dialogue scene, comes from.
Right.
Is from that Garth Ennis version of the Punisher. Like, I guess there's like a very pivotal scene in that run of the comics where they actually have this exact same scene. But I was reading that in the comic book version, Daredevil kind of comes across as a kind of a chump in that. And I think that they did a much better job, if that's the case, of making them equals in this whole dialogue scene, because that was my number one. We just flip flop. You had the fight scene as number one. I had the dialogue as number one. I I'm just loving the crap out of everything that they do with the Daredevil and Punisher. It's just phenomenal. And you're right.
You can understand everybody's point of view. Everybody, it makes sense.
Yes.
To that character and for that character.
Yeah, no, I mean it's basically Daredevil's his ideology and his actions versus the Punisher's way of, exacting justice on the streets of Hell's Kitchen. And which way do you go? Do you lean more towards Daredevil's style, or do you lean more towards the Punisher style? Because I love the way that whenever the Punisher's talking to him, I can't remember the exact lines, but it was along the lines of the half measure and everything. And he said that when you take out people, they get back up. When I take them out, they stay in the ground.
They're down for the count. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I don't know.
It's true. He knows that they're going to get off eventually, and they're back on the street.
Exactly.
Same circle of bullshit over and over. So
yeah,
he's putting an end to that cycle.
Yeah, he definitely puts an end to that cycle.
Yeah, his way of thinking makes sense.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite lines from their whole dialogue scene was when he says, "You run around this city in a pair of little boys' pajamas and a mask. Yeah. You go home at night, right? Take that mask off. Maybe you think it wasn't you who did those things. Maybe it was somebody else. Soldiers don't wear masks. We don't get that privilege."
Yeah.
Because I think that's right before the one thing that you can't see, that you're one bad day away from being me.
Right.
That's perfect too, though, because a lot of what Matt's been conflicted with being compared to the Punisher, he can't see himself that way, but the way that Karen basically tells him that
you inspired that.
You inspired him and everything. So I don't know. I think they're way more closely aligned than Matt wants to believe.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. But I think Bernthal's just bringing the perfect amount of sympathy too, because when he met that old man there and he had the gun on him and they had their little dialogues, like, he doesn't want to hurt the guy.
No, I loved it. I loved when he said that was for you. That was all a part of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. So
no, the writing is just great.
It is really good between them. That's why for me it was so crazy to think that the fight scene wouldn't be number one for me, but man, it was so intense watching them go back and forth in the beginning of the episode. I loved whenever the first shot you see is just Frank Castle drinking the coffee and he goes, "Morning sunshine."
Yeah.
And John Bernthal has the perfect voice. He's got this like gravelly, just husky, badass voice to me.
Yeah,
and
he's awesome. That's why I don't understand how anybody cannot be enjoying his take on the character.
I
don't know.
I have no clue how you can not enjoy what he's putting down in the Daredevil TV show thus far, because it is amazing. So
he's killing it, at least for me.
Yes, I think he's killing it for me as well.
I'm wondering if the two align by the end of the season, because that would be interesting
if they came together.
Yeah, if they start to
the dynamic
understand
duo.
Each other more, and the other one stops killing. Maybe he wipes out everybody he had to wipe out, and he's done.
Yeah.
So who knows?
They would be a badass team, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know if Daredevil could ever allow the Punisher to do exactly what he wants to do, though.
Right. Yeah.
Because I mean, his way of
Punisher would have to change. Yeah.
Yeah, because he shoots everybody. I mean, that's death. That's pretty much automatic death. Let's just put it at it's probably 95% death. We saw that Grotto got away momentarily,
right?
Until he got shot in a more prominent part of his body, because he got shot in the in episode 1. It didn't die then, but this bullet got him. So yeah, it would have to be the Punisher would have to change a little bit. He would probably have to move to bats or something. So
maybe because I'm thinking of the movie, like the Thomas Jane one, where he was after a specific crime lord, that did what he did, and then after that, he doesn't go around killing as many people. I mean, I don't know, but it'd be interesting to see how that plays out.
It would.
I do want to see his story though. because now we're getting to understand him a little better and the way he thinks, and
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I don't know if they're gonna give it to us like
No,
completely. I
because
don't
maybe
know.
they'll save that for his own series.
Yeah, I mean there have been talks with Netflix saying that they're gonna have a Punisher spin-off series, but I don't know how accurate that is, and I don't know if that's actually gonna happen. But I think that they've created a character, they've got an actor that can pull off any range that they need for the Punisher.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I think that they would do themselves a great service if they, created the Punisher brand of TV series or put him in a movie or something. I still don't understand why we can't have the freaking crossover between the characters in the show and the movie.
I know.
This stuff to me is much better than any of the movies minus
Right?
Captain America stuff.
Yeah, but Daredevil should pop up in Civil War. Why not?
Something. I don't understand why he wouldn't. I think it's just idiotic.
Marvel is weird like that.
Yeah, I'm like, this is in DC as well. Like,
Yeah.
Grant Gustin's killing as the Flash. Like, why can't he be the Flash in the movie, or or at least be one of the Flashes of different Earths or whatever?
Earth. Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I don't.
No, but even DC is even weirder because they start pulling characters when they're going to start showing up in the movies. They're just killed off on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
dumb.
they got rid of Deadshot and Deathstroke and
Yeah,
Amanda Walker and everybody. So
yeah, that's just
it's
dumb.
weird.
Yeah, makes no sense. DC, Marvel could being stupid. So, all right. Well, I think we're done talking. We want to hear all of you guys' thoughts in the comment box down below. What did you think of the stairwell fight scene? What did you think of Daredevil versus the Punisher? Which ideology would you agree most with? Are you on Daredevil's side, or are you on more of the Punisher side that you put them down permanently? They don't ever get back up. And we'll be back with more discussions on Daredevil Season 2 very soon. So hit that subscribe button. And thanks so much for watching our content.
Yeah, I'm ready for 4.
Yes, me too.
Here we go.